Spot on, spot off. NASCAR threw the caution in the closing laps after Kyle Busch spun on the apron, but did not throw the yellow for Blaney's spin in front of the field on a late race restart. TJ, spot on, spot off.
I'm spot off. There was the tone was set pretty early that if there was a single car spin, they were going to get going. You let it keep racing. We got past. We probably lost close to 10 spots last night because guys spun out in front of us and we had to lift, and others around us did not lift. And I got to the point where I said, "There's one spin in front of you, but stay in it. We got to keep going." And I don't want to do that. So, but I didn't understand. The 8 and the 5 were both out of harm's way more than some of the others, and the caution, we get a caution for those ones, but yet we got a guy sitting in the middle of the track, and we're waiting to throw the caution for him. So I didn't, I don't know, I just didn't. It was tough, man. It got to the point where I literally was saying, "Got to spin in front of you, but keep going until I tell you, keep going." And I don't want to send my guy into that, because what if that guy slides down the track a little bit further and my guy's not braking? I don't. I'm so used to, one spin in front of you, backing down, back. Like, you're so used to getting your guy slowed up to minimize any damage to the car, safety, everything. And now it was like kind of like, one spinning, but keep going. I don't know. So I'm kind of spot off for it.
Lambert, spot on, spot off.
I'm definitely spot off. Even last week or the week before at Richmond, when the 45 spun off of turn 2, it was forever before the caution was thrown. And, of course, Radioactive has me on there basically saying, "Spin off of 2, still green, what the f-?" And, of course, my wife's like, "You got to watch what you say on the radio." So then, of course, last night, it's the same thing. You had several spins, and you didn't know. You learned early on what was going to be a caution and what wasn't, but if I'm the guy that spins and I know there's not a caution, what am I going to do? I'm going to fire up, spin around as fast as I can, no matter what's coming, to get rolling again so I don't lose a lap. So it put a lot of guys in some bad spots, and you saw 2 or 3 cars spin all over the racetrack and no caution. So if you're going to throw it, throw it. If you're not, don't. Just be consistent so we know what to expect, because at the end of the day, the spotter position, we're safety. That's our main job. Not just for my guy, but I want everybody to go home safe to their families. So when you're having guys spin out and you're saying stay in the gas and not knowing what's going to happen the next corner with guys, so it's a scary thing.
I'm gonna play. I'm gonna sound like TJ. I think they did a pretty good job. There was 2 instances. TJ named both of them that I thought they threw yellows when it didn't need to be yellows. The 8 and the 5. The 8 was on the apron, nobody near him. Rolling the pit road, it looked like.
Yeah, you got right on pit road.
Yellow came out for some reason there. Didn't understand that one. That was a race-altering. You talk about race manipulation. There's one there where we're throwing a caution for no reason with 10 to go. The 5, they said it, like you guys already said, they set a precedent early. If it was a single-car spin and that guy looked like he was going to keep going, they're going to keep going. And thank God they did, because if not, that race would have had 5, 6, 7 more cautions and would have took another hour to run. But, and that's easy for me to say because I was in front of most of them. You guys weren't. I think that the slower speeds kind of lend themselves to be a little more lenient there. Like, you're not running, whatever we would normally run there, 14-second laps. So, obviously you don't want to see anybody make contact and get hurt.
But you don't have control. That's my issue.
I know.
When you slide into the corner and they're broadside, you can't.
And I think that
you can't change lanes.
That's kind of what I'm getting at with the speeds. Like, if you hit them, you're not hitting them. I mean, you're going to wreck. You hit, I forget who it was that spun off of 4 there, and you got collected, and that's what knocked your nose off of it. But, I mean, you continued on, didn't even knock you out of the race, and that was probably like one of the harder hits I've seen all night. So, because if they threw a caution every time somebody spun, we'd still be there racing. So I thought they did a good job with trying to keep it running. I don't understand the 2 cautions for the 5 and the 8. The 5, as soon as he spun, he's on the apron kind of out of the way, the yellow came out. But I thought that they kind of did a good job and had to keep it rolling because, like I said, if you just keep throwing the caution, you're never going to see any racing all night.
Which I was fine with. That's how we were going to go,
yeah.
But it was kind of these 2 cautions then kind of counteracted everything that was done, caught up to that point.
The one thing that I didn't like, and I saw it a lot in the truck heat races, and I saw it in the race last night with, I think it was Davenport. There was some times where I know they were waiting to, you don't want to throw a caution, but like there's a couple times where there's a guy sitting there, and I'm like, okay, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, what are we waiting on now? Because you don't need the whole field bearing down on somebody that's a parked car.
And they did that at the very end. There was,
Yeah.
I mean, was it Ross?
They were going to let it go green, I think. They
were,
You know,
yeah,
the
but
9
it
was wrecked, and then Ross parked.
Well,
right
the
in
9
middle of
got
racetrack.
the 9 got off the racetrack.
Yeah, he
did
was
a
on the apron.
Yeah, he did a really good job, but Ross couldn't turn, and it
Yeah.
wasn't Ross. I mean, Ross hit and went right up the track, and you could tell he was like trying to get out of the way, but it wasn't turning, and well, that was going to be.
Yeah, I didn't like. I know everybody's going to point to that Blaney deal at the end. I didn't have an issue with them not throwing a caution there because that was kind of their MO all night. Like Blaney
Yeah.
got turned around, did a 360, kept digging.
But why
and-
does that not get a caution and a single car on the bottom?
Listen,
does?
I think that the Blaney deal should not have been a caution, but I also think that the 8 and the 5 should not have been
Yeah,
cautions.
that's-
You know, like if like there's no reason, especially when you just hammered a guy for race manipulation. Why are we throwing a caution for a car that's on the apron, not anywhere near anybody that's clearly driving the pit road? Like
Yeah.
he's not. The 8, like the 5, I could see because he got turned around and he was kind of mid pack and he kind of got hung up on the apron for a second. But the caution came out quick there, where like that I felt like quicker than most. But that 8 one just really that didn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
They
to
did.
me.
They were pretty consistent most of the night, though, and there were other wrecks that happened that didn't get cautions. We just kind of kept it, which it all worked out. We all kept digging. And most of the guys that I saw some cars get tore up, and those guys did a good job getting on the flat and getting out of the way
Yeah.
instead of parking on the
Logano
track.
was one of them.
Yeah, a lot of guys that had damage, they actually did a really good job of getting out of the way and keeping the race flowing as well.